Good evening, short story writers. Welcome to this evening's excerpt, episode, segment, short story inspiration stroke idea. And this is going to be a kind of a monkey's paw type of thing. Not insofar as you make a wish and it all goes wrong. It's just I believe the monkey's paw is found in some sort of a junk shop, and we're going to go with that. Not junk shop necessarily. It could be a charity shop, a thrift store of some description, but there's something there that catches your protagonist's eye, and it has an unusual property about it, and that is the starting point of your story. This unusual property causes some form of problem for your protagonist, and it could either be in the form of everything's fine at first and then it starts going horribly wrong, or it goes horribly wrong from the beginning. It's up to you to decide what the property is. So it could be that it glows when bad people are around. It could be that it predicts the future in some way. Whatever. It could be helpful at first and then start asserting itself and taking over. So, literary, well, and kind of romance as well. If you wanted to write sort of realistic romance, it could be that it does make a prediction, and the prediction in the case of romance is that actually, this would be a good literary story as well. The person of your dreams, man or woman of your dreams, does turn up, but as you find out, the whole happily ever after thing, or you, as in your protagonist, finds out the whole happily ever after thing is not how life is. That even if you find what you consider to be a soulmate, that there is still some area of compromise to be made, and that means that there will be frictions because that's how life is. Even amongst the closest of good friends, there are usually times when one is out of sorts, the other one makes amends. There's a saying, love is blind, friendship closes its eyes. All right, so science fiction and comedy and surreal and horror and fantasy. I'm going to lump them all together because I could see this having comic consequences, misunderstandings which lead to other misunderstandings. Those would be your problems. In the case of science fiction, etc., the ability property or whatever would be, well, horror's always about some monstrous entity, isn't it, coming along? So it warns that this is happening, and the protagonist is skeptical, and lo and behold, it happens. And without the gore, etc., that would be fantasy, and that would also be possibly surreal and sci-fi. Well, it could lead to some sort of discovery, which is a double-edged sword. Benefits some part of humanity, but there are others who are disadvantaged as a result. Biographical, political, and historical. Well, there have been inventions in the past which could have benefited humanity but were suppressed. And then, well, gunpowder is a case in point. Only used for fireworks. I believe that the Chinese were horrified by the thought of it being used for war at first. I don't know if that's true, but when Marco Polo brought it back, all of a sudden, oh wow, we can use this for cannons and the like. So it was immediately put to a more horrific use. So there you go. That is today's short story idea. I hope you can do something with that. And as usual, subscribe and I would like, tell the algorithm if you think this is a useful channel and if today's tip has been useful to you. And I encourage you to pick up your pen or get on your device, start typing, or you haven't got to type anymore. You can dictate into Google Docs 30 seconds at a time, admittedly, so you've got to also think out what you are going to say and be on the lookout for typos as they occur. So it's you're doing a bit of editing as you go along, but big time saver, particularly if you got your story thought out. Okay, that, my fellow short story writers, is it. Have a great evening. Bye now.